So getting into subsidized housing took out majority of the anxiety I have. When my income is not growing, but my rent is growing, all the expenses are growing, I knew eventually if I didn't get into senior housing, subsidized housing, I'd probably be homeless. But I was lucky enough to get subsidized housing, so that took a load off my mind.
Well, I think of home as being your personal space, your personal shelter, ideally where you're safe. I want to be part of that generation that has a sense of what I need, what I want, and what's appropriate for me, what's possible for me.
Because I'm safe here. I have family here. It's the only family I have is the Rainbow community. And that's very important to me. I lived in an SRO in Uptown. Very scary, very tricky, especially if you're trans queer. I would not hang around. I dreaded coming home. So I never used the word, I shouldn't even use the word home because it didn't feel like it. And I spent 4 long years there. Finally, I got the call here.
More of what makes it feel a sense of home here at Town Hall Apartments is the atmosphere and the people who live here, and the fact that it is gay friendly, and that when I go see the social worker, I don't have to sit down and explain to her every time my issues of including gayness somehow in it. It's not a constant battle of coming out to the staff. And I don't have to go back into the closet. And that this is a place where we can live in both pride and dignity. And not all of us have that opportunity now.
I feel validated by us all being united here in this building, and that we represent the gay community here. And I really am glad to be part of it. A lot of people from other countries and other towns, when they come to visit our building, they said, we need more of these buildings. So to come across a lot of people that don't want the harassment from their neighbors because they're out, and I don't have to worry about that today.
When we wake up in this building, we get dressed, we go out, we don't think of how we have to act because we know, even this non-LGBT people know we are and they accept us as, building mates.
I think that when you're out and you're aging, there's still handicaps that people have in terms of providing you with the support, the familial support that you need, and then the professional support that you need. People make assumptions, and those assumptions, it's true. What they say about them, ass out of you and me. And what that then does is it handicaps the people that want to provide service, and it handicaps the people that need service. And I see it over and over again in these quirky little, not mean-spirited ways. Yeah, because I think that buried in each of us, no matter what the shell is that we come in, and the way we've crafted that shell in terms of how we present ourselves, that there's all kinds of stuff within the shell that you're never going to know about unless you ask. And so if you take people for granted, if you take the easy route, then you're not going to be able to satisfy your goals or their goals. The wondrous thing about getting older, for me, is it's fun to see how I'm still growing and learning and changing. I was the 20-year-old that got out of school and said, now I know everything I need to know. And I was quickly disabused of that. Yeah, no, you change until You don't, then you're not breathing probably. And we need to encounter people in a way that encourages that, and encourages, honors surprise. You know, and if you get surprised at least once every day, you're probably doing it right.
I feel that, of course, we all gay differently, and that there are more stories and more experiences than most people recognize. And so these issues are not foreign to them. So I've always had an out life, and now in this stage of life, to not have to go back into the closet, to find a place to live and to interact is truly a gift. The LGBT community is not a homogeneous community, it's a heterogeneous community. And of all socially marginalized communities, it is the most heterogeneous. You know, if we're talking about marginalization on the basis of race, usually everybody in your community shares your race. If we're talking about marginalization on the issue of gender, well, at least 50% of your community shares your gender, you know. But if you're talking about being LGBT, each of us goes through at some point, even today, surprisingly, the experience of thinking that we're the only one. So we begin to feel distinct from our communities. And many of us are driven from our families and from our communities of origin, looking for a place to be. Well, one of the things that the LGBT community prides itself on is being a place where we value family of choice or community of choice with people coming from different places.
Why can't you count those who are willing to say, I belong to the LGBTQ community? So, we cannot judge by looks. We shouldn't judge, period. All we can do is seek, search to learn the other human being and go from there and do what's right. You know, if we listen to our hearts, we would not have this discussion going on about LGBTQ. Yes, it would be hopefully in the future it won't be a thing. Oh yeah, the couple down the street. So then you see the couple and they're two women, or they're two men. Oh, the couple down the street's coming in dinner. No big deal. I'm hoping that is our future. It was always felt right. I am a proud, accomplished African American woman with history and heritage from German, Native American Indian, and the African slaves, and I'm very proud of it. So take me as I am.
It's always been Howard Brown because when I first started going there, they were one of the few back then that accepted Medicaid. And then I started, wow, I'm here, I might as well start transitioning. And it made it a lot easier. I mean, even the pharmacists there, they have the Walgreens inside the Howard Browns, wherever they are. And they're very supportive too. And it's amazing, you know, and I wonder what other people do. It's like I don't have to worry about my health. I just go there and, okay, we're gonna do this, Eva, we're gonna do that. They have my records and, well, you know, when I say trans queer, you know, they know. Some people will say, well, what, you one or the other? And I go, no, I'm a fluid of both. You know, I'm third gender, I'm a Hydra, you know. And they understand that, they're okay with that. Well, I would call Howard Brown, I would call the Center on Halstead. They're very open with their information, and they have people, I'm sure, that would go over there and explain and, you know, learn as much as you can. You health providers, ask questions, and do the best you can. Because there are people that need you.